1 year ago, on September 27th, 2024, Hurricane Helene hit our two-street neighborhood. We all fought to survive. We all lost everything we own. But in the end, was it really all bad? I am 41 years old and have been through a lot in my life. I have a rare genetic disorder called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, or also known as FOP. I'm in a wheelchair full time, require complete care, use oxygen and a CPAP. Most of my joints do not move because of FOP. My husband and I live in a small neighborhood in Hendersonville. It has only 31 houses and a few townhouses. It is quiet in a neighborhood where you chit chatted with neighbors when you saw them or waved as you passed by. I knew a few of our neighbors, but not many. We also live on a creek, and we have had the land next to our creek flood, but it never had gone in our house. On September 26th, we went to bed with the creek flooded, but since we're used to it, we weren't nervous. We were woken on the 27th with the power going out and my oxygen and CPAP going off. We put me on my portable oxygen, ate some sandwiches, and hung up with our pets. We heard something bang against the house, which we later learned was our gas tank. Matt immediately got up and looked back and realized the danger we were in. He started grabbing supplies and opened the basement door. The water was already up to the steps. He went through the garage and realized it was already flooded that way as well. He got the two cats in crates and the two dogs on leashes. We opened the front door and saw some neighbors in chest deep water trying to help our other neighbors cross the street. This water was rushing. I hollered out and said, "We need help," and he said that we would be next. Soon these men, along with one of the neighbors that had just gone across the street and had been rescued, came back to help me get out of the water. At one point, my husband asked if I remembered how to float. I responded no, and later he told me he turned around and teared up. He knew we had to be safe. The pets went to one house, but it was already flooding, so we went to the other house next door. I used a sling for a Hoyer lift to get into bed, so that was used to carry me. We were in a neighbor's house who I had not formally met. There was another couple there who I had not met either. I was put on the floor. As time went by, the water started getting into their house. They got me onto a couch. We saw people outside and trees. There was a ravine with houses that realized everyone in our neighborhood was still down there, and we used a ladder and rope to get those people up the ravine and evacuated. Unfortunately, I would not be able to do that because and the water was still rising. The people we were with and my husband got me onto a table. By now, my oxygen had run out too. Our sweet neighbor prayed over me, and we waited as the water kept rising. The water got to the table, and we just had to have hope. The water stopped rising and soon started going down. I was then put back on the couch because I was hurting really bad from being on hard surfaces. And just like that, the water left her home. At about 4 p.m., a rescue team showed up with a canoe. I was put in it, and they swam in 9 feet water to the entrance of our neighborhood where that was already dry. We were told it took 4 hours just to get close to our neighborhood. We were put in a truck, which I still have no clue how they got me into, and we were taken to a fire station for the night. We knew we could evacuate to my parents' house, but that way was blocked from fallen trees, debris, and roads that had been washed away. Some oxygen, and we were able to eat some chips. The next morning, it was organized to get me to my parents. Once we got there, I had no oxygen. We had nothing but a few things we were able to grab while with the ambulance. We didn't know how anyone else was or where our pets were. My parents came the next day and checked the neighborhood and were able to find our pets. We learned that they were evacuated on pillows up the ravine to some amazing people. It took me about a week to start getting my oxygen and CPAP again. We are safe though, and that's what mattered. Our neighbors were able to use our frozen food, emergency food and drinks, as well as others, so people were fed and hydrated. My power chair and wheelchair van were totaled. Unfortunately, FEMA and our insurance did not have much for our belongings and car, but my wheelchair was luckily covered. I was now stuck in bed though till my wheelchair came through. I was donated a couple chairs to try, but my body just wasn't cooperating. My new chair came in March, and April we were able to move back home. I had been in bed for 6 months. I'd been away from everything and everyone affected. So when we moved back home, I started to realize we were no longer only a neighborhood, but we were making a family now. The first day home, our neighbors brought us food to last us a few days. Only a few people were moved in, but those few were so important. There was also an organization that was in our neighborhood that were rebuilding homes for those that could not afford it. With them here, we have cookouts weekly and Bible study weekly. We hope to continue this as well. And there were days I hurt too much to go to those cookouts, so our neighbors make sure that they brought food to us. I couldn't get into our neighbor's home, so the organization Reach Global built me a ramp to get into there. Reach Global has helped so many of our neighbors and others who have rebuilt themselves. People donating their time to help people get a bit of normalcy. We have about 23 of our 31 neighbors back. It is 1 year after the storm, but instead of suffering and heartbreak, we're not rebuilding a neighborhood, we're building a family. A family I'm so happy to be a part of. I wanted to tell my story because, as bad as that day was, and it was terrifying, in the end, we learned what truly matters: love. Everyone has their own story of that day: the fight to survive, the fight to get through those days with nothing, the fight to rebuild, and then the fight to enjoy our future. And every person in our neighborhood, our own families, the organizations that have helped come to help our small neighborhood, thank you. You made it possible to love the what's to come. We still have a lot to do, but with our family, we can do anything. I love you and continue to dance in the storm.